Well, the next one here, we want to graph the system of equations and solve it by looking at it graphically. I'll say this: 14 is going to be an easier question, easier problem to solve. Y is equal to -2 is a horizontal line, and x equals 4 is a vertical line. They should cross at a point that includes both of those, and I'll just kind of tip you off to that. But this one here, this one's going to be a more typical problem, and I'm going to do it on freehand here without a graph or without graph paper, just because I've kind of set you up to do the same thing, and if you're careful, that should be good enough. Y is equal to -1/1 x plus 4. That gives you the y-intercept, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it gives you a slope that's pretty specific, more specific than it originally looked. That's a down 1/1 situation. Down 1/1, down 1/1, and down 1/1. So at 1, 2, 3, 4, it's going to cross the y-axis at 4, but also the x-axis at 4, based on the setup here. This equation we have to do some work with before we can get it to graph the same way. So you move the x over, and you end up with 2y is equal to -2x plus 8. If you divide by 2, you're going to find something interesting that happens here. You got y is equal to -1x plus 4. And as you start to kind of graph that, you go up to the 4 and you go down 1/1. You find that these lines fall in exactly the same spot. Okay, which basically means that we have the same line. It overlaps, and therefore, there it is. Sorry, since it overlaps, there are many solutions and infinitely many solutions. So that's that. If it was just a little off, if that was a +5, it would be above it. Then there'd be no solution because they're parallel. So we just want to make sure we're clear on that. So I would try 14 and 15 for the two that you're doing here.